So there are many more such sessions that we have lined up for you, and we will keep updating you about these sessions every day. So if you're following us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, or visiting our website, I'm sure you are being updated with all these sessions, and we would like you to participate actively, because the fact that you're participating, the fact that you are interested in learning more, only shows how much you are geared up to fight this war against coronavirus, and how much you're eager to go back to your salons and spas. So let's keep the morale high, let's support each other, let's collaborate each other in doing more creative and innovative things, even though we are at home and working from home. I'm sure we'll overcome this together. Okay, so I'm still waiting for Vaishali to join us. All right, so I'm connecting her, and Shirley, thank you so much for your patience. We will quickly start our session as soon as we have her on the screen. Hi, Vaishali.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. Excited to be a part of the session.
Welcome to Professional Beauty Quarren Live. It's great to have you here. Vaishali, if you could adjust your screen a little bit so that we can see your entire face.
Yes, now
Yes,
it's okay?
yes,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
perfect. It's perfect. All right. So I was holding on to your introduction till you came, because I wanted our viewers to know about you as they are looking at you. So let me give our viewers a quick introduction about you, and then we'll get on to talking about the need of the hour, Hygiene 101 for salons. So our guest for today, Vaishali K. Shah, is a highly respected cosmetologist who's certified by international education bodies such as CETESCO and VTCT. She is NSDC appointed beauty skill expert for World Skills Competition. She has helped mentor many Indian contestants who have gone ahead and won gold medals and medallion of excellence at various international competitions. She's also a qualified diet and nutrition professional, and of course the founder of India's highly successful International Beauty Academy, LTA School of Beauty. Welcome to PB Quarren Live, Vaishali. It's so good to have you here. So as
Thank
we
you.
were discussing earlier on,
Hmm.
we would like to know from you, what are the hygiene precautions or measures that are a must for salons now once the lockdown is lifted and they open the door for the customers?
Sure. So before we go on to that question, I'm going to do a little bit of the agenda setting for us in terms of what's that I want to cover today. Uh,
Okay.
uh, you know, uh, Once this lockdown gets over, most of the us, as owners, as clients, as our staff, will be very, very apprehensive about this safety in a salon. Okay, initially the clients used to look for what's a clean or a hygienic salon. Now the clients are going to come and look for what's called as a safe salon. So we actually now
Right.
need to adhere to the new normal for us. We really need to come
Absolutely.
on to the new normals. It's not any time now. I wouldn't say it's a choice to us, but it's more that it's mandatory for us to get onto this new normal. Okay, so that's one. So what's the new normal? I would say a new normal is not about hygiene, it's not about sanitization only, but it's more of disinfection, sterilization, and so that's what we would look for.
Okay.
In our context, generally these are all interchangeable terms that we use. Sometimes we say,
Yeah.
what, we practice hygiene, but I think it's no more practicing hygiene. It's more of saying that we actually practice a lot of sanitization, a lot of disinfection. So let me tell you what a hygiene would mean. A hygiene would be
Yeah.
something which is, just cleaning up a salon. So I've mopped my
Right.
floors, I've dusted my tables, the mirrors cleaned up, all that. That's my hygiene practices. Okay. Now,
Okay.
but that is not going to kill any germs. That's not going to kill any bacteria. It's just cleaning up, just maintaining a place clean. Okay, that we were
Right.
doing, and I think that's the past now. So now what do we need
Yeah.
is the next step, which is called as sanitization. Now, again, Sanitization is using any chemical form or physical form of disinfection of or cleaning up a place, which will
Right.
kill the microorganisms to a good extent. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
again, it's not 100% killed. Now, with the current scenario where we are having our coronavirus, as we popularly know it,
Yeah.
which requires it to be 100% clean or 100% off, and it has to be killed 100%. Otherwise, I'm sure we all going to get infection. We need to get into disinfection as the new norm. Now, what is
Okay.
disinfection? It's use of a chemical, generally because we are into a salon, use of these chemicals which are going to kill the bacteria and the viruses 100%. Okay, so we need to get
Okay.
into this disinfection. So this is the new normal which I'm talking about. This is the new normal that we all will now need to follow.
Right. This is the new definition of hygiene that we all need to have in our lives now, and more so
Yes,
for salons and spas. So, yeah, you explained the whole difference between disinfection and hygiene. Um, there is also something called as sterilizing the tools that is done in a salon. So,
yes.
can you
So
throw some light on that as well?
yes. So while we disinfect the floors and the chairs and the mirrors and all, which is big objects there, we need to sterilize those smaller equipments which we are going to use on the client directly. Okay. So
Okay.
things like our manicure tools, our pedicure tools, our facial tools, if we're using any metal tools there, or if you're using, I mean, the scissors which we use, these all needs to
Yeah.
be what we call as sterilized. Now, when I say sterilized, is a sure short method that all the bacteria, all the viruses are going to be killed. I would rather
Yeah.
say, you know what, our salons will slowly start looking like a surgical operation theater setup where everything will need to be sterilized. Yeah,
Yeah.
you put it into an autoclave. So now UV sterilizer will not work at optimal. I mean, the way we use our UV sterilizers doesn't work to the optimum level now. So we would
Okay.
require to use autoclaves now. Now, autoclave,
Okay.
to make it very simple for a layman to understand what an autoclave looks like or is, I would say uh, it's like a pressure cooker. You know how a cooker works? I mean, there's a
Yeah.
steam generated. That is why the
Yeah.
temperature inside gets into such a high temperature and kills all the viruses. So,
Right.
autoclave is similar, but a little modern looking equipment for sure, which raises the temperature there and kills those viruses, and this
Okay.
happens in a more or less a vacuum like atmosphere. So that's what is the next that is what we will require to do with all our metal tools. Again, another thing
Okay.
is some things we can't sterilize. Some things we can't sterilize because if it's a plastic or if it's those are brushes and all, it's all will going to go bad if we start sterilizing them. In that
Yeah.
case, our disposables will come in function. So when we go a
Yeah.
little ahead, I'll tell you where we need to use our disposables and where we can avoid our disposables.
Absolutely. So, what is the time required for this whole process, the sterilizing process?
So
So, if
what?
I'm assuming that it has to be done after every use.
Yes, yes, yes. So what happens is when we do the sterilization, we don't do a sterilization back to back after every client, but we have multiple set kept with us. So I would have
Right.
three different working sets of manicure with me, the implements for manicure. I would have multiple sets for facial, a multiple set of, rather my cutting scissors also needs to be more than one with me now. So all this,
Okay.
I would probably have a scheduled time in the day when my autoclave will be switched on. So all my rooms will have their equipment got into that autoclave, and then we would autoclave it. And autoclave can go up till a 45-minute as a process. Okay.
Okay.
Saying that, sterilization will happen probably 3 times a day, 4 times a day. One new equipment per client always needs to be. My implements can't be repeated. That has to be. So I will have multiple pieces with me.
Right.
However, when I also come to saying that the other things which I'm not sterilizing, I need to disinfect it after every client. That process takes me at least about a 15-minute to disinfect. Because once I
Yeah.
spray or if once I pour a disinfectant into something, for it to really act, depending on the manufacturer, but it's in it, yeah, to a 10-minute. So I would require a 15-minute time, which I would disinfect my surrounding areas.
Right. So, in terms of time, a salon will definitely need to invest more, and then that's why they need to space out their appointments so that after each appointment there is a 15-minute gap to disinfect the place, and during the day they get like an hour or so to sterilize their equipment.
Yes, also saying that we would definitely space out appointments, but I also would say that we would not be able to work at 100% optimal appointments also, because we have the new norm
Yeah.
of a 6 feet or a 1 meter distance. I would suggest in a salon we need to go to a 2 meter distance for sure, because we're very close proximity of our own clients. So we have a 2 meter distance between two clients in the salon. So if I have a space which is only about 5 meters, I might be able to only take two clients in that space. So
Right.
so the number of clients in my salon will be restricted. That's one. And secondly, the hours, the working hours in a day can be better for sure. So instead of working a regular 10 o'clock to 8 o'clock, we might want to work from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the night so that we can space out our clients. And I'm sure we are expecting a lot of rush once we open after the lockdown.
Absolutely. There are people dying to get their eyebrows done or their hair cut done. So a
Yeah.
lot of math will be involved while scheduling your day at the salon. Speaking of which, there will definitely be more investment required from a salon owner's perspective, be it even if you're disinfecting things, those chemicals need to be bought in larger quantities. So can you give us like a ballpark figure on how much more investment should a salon look at?
So I would look at it in two ways. I mean, one is I get everything as a common use. So disinfectants, my gloves, my mask, and everything becomes a common use. Then I would say a per client, I'm looking at anywhere between 100 to 120 rupees or 150 rupees as incremental expenses for the first few months. Because the first few months is
Okay.
even investing uh, in those dispensing equipments, because I need to buy a dispensers, I need to buy those things. That's going to be
Right.
higher. Slowly, that cost definitely would come down to 100 or below 100. One another suggestion I would give here is, it would be a good idea, or it would be a very comfortable for a client if once a client enters a salon, and I have what's called as a PPE, or what I call as a personal protective equipment kit given to my client to be used for her there. Now, this kit,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, yes, I agree that there would be an expense, but I think it's a very, very big statement that my salon would make here to say, I really practice safety in my salon. So here I have things like I give them a fresh mask there, because this client
Okay.
is going to come from outside. She's using a mask. I don't know what's on her mask. I don't want it to spread to anybody in my salon. So I would say, okay, dispose that mask and I can give her a fresh mask to be used inside our salon. Second is I can give her a small sanitizer, which is her personal use. So whatever she touches, she's uncomfortable, she can always sanitize her hands on her own.
Yeah.
One important thing that we can add on is getting her a shoe covers. There are disposable shoe covers which are available in the market. Yeah, we
Yeah.
could use those. I can show you a picture of the shoe cover if let me just see if I can get you one. No, I don't have a shoe cover picture. Yeah, but we can get a shoe cover done for everybody. It's a disposable thing. Put it onto your own shoes, so we don't, because in India we can't have them removing their shoes outside. I'm sure they'll be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
can at least ask them to put on these shoe covers. So inside, beyond the reception, we have no germs that travel with them inside there. That's the second
Okay.
thing. Yeah, third thing, very important, which I know many of us will be reluctant, but it's a very important critical step for us to do here, is to give them what's their personal disposable aprons or gowns to be worn on their clothes. So we do not
Okay.
even have a risk of infection through their clothes, because we know this virus can live onto your clothes also. So
Yeah.
it would be a good idea to give them. I can show you a picture of that for sure. Okay. So if you can see that,
Right.
yeah,
So it's
this is
pretty much
like,
similar to what the healthcare officials are using.
yes, yes. Yeah, but they are using the material which is much more thicker, much more there. And this is the other one, which probably we as therapists might start using them. Now, these
Yeah.
ones are available in plastic as well as in disposable material, the non-woven material. You could choose whichever you want. And I'm sure there are different colors available. So we wouldn't want to go with the blue, which is for the healthcare sector. But
Right.
if we can give this kit to our client at the reception, I'm sure it makes a very, very big impression, as well as a statement from a salon that's safety first from our end.
Right. Um, Also, the equipment that you will be giving to the staff, will that be also disposable or it can be washed and reused?
So in for the staff, we require a different set of equipments to be given there, because the staff is the one who's servicing clothes and going to meet so many different clients for that day. So to
Yeah.
start on with, what is that they require? One is definitely they require a mask. Now, in this case, we have a choice of going for a disposable or a non-disposable, or rather the washable, reusable. But I would always prefer working in a setup which is like a public setup. We are not at home; we are outside. I would always prefer to use a disposable, because I can change it after every few hours. I can change it after every few interactions with my client. I don't need to have the same mask on the whole day. That's one. Second is it's important that I have a eye gear, because I'm going to be closer to a client, especially in a case of a haircut or even in threading for that matter, even for
Yeah.
a facial or a pedicure, everything I'm going to be close. I can have an eye gear, okay, like a big glasses, which covers on my mask. So I have a gear and I have a mask with here. So I have nothing that leaves open. Okay.
Right.
Another good option would be, especially for my hairdressers, would be that to have a face visor. A face visor is a complete protective gear that comes on the face, and that really, really becomes a very, very big protection for them. That definitely can be reused in the day for sure. And gloves are non-negotiable for now. Now in the
Yes.
gloves, I would suggest to have two pairs of gloves on the therapist or the hairdresser. One pair, the first pair of gloves which touches the skin, my skin, needs to have my gown or my sleeve, my protective sleeve, gone in there. So it's completely sealing my body against any virus attack. Yeah. My second
Okay.
pair of gloves is what will touch my client, and I can change my second pair of gloves. This is also, I can always change my second pair. I don't need to change my first pair at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, sometimes we're not used to so many hygiene practices. It takes a little time for us to get there. So sometimes, if I'm in a hurry and I forgot to change, I at least can just remove it and throw it. I still have a pair of gloves which are there. So it's going to
Yeah.
ensure my complete safety there. So for
That's
my
a brilliant
personnel,
idea, actually, having two pairs of gloves.
yeah, and that ensures that my salon personnel is really, really taken care at all point of time. Yeah, so that's very
Absolutely.
important. I also would want to show, because some of us might not know what a visor would mean or an eye gear would mean. So I just took printouts. I thought this is the easier. So we have a
Okay.
visor there. I hope you can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we have the mask there. I have the gloves there, and I also have the
Hmm.
eye gear. So these are my protective gears, which will become mandatory for us as personals working in the salon.
Right. Um, So when we were earlier on discussing about the different hygiene factors that we should be focusing on in this talk, I forgot to mention to you on how to treat the client as soon as she enters the salon. So if you could start with that, and then we go on to talk about the treatments. So yeah,
Sure.
she's standing in your reception. You mentioned that you can give them shoe covers, but what are the other things that can be taken care of to minimize touch points at the reception?
Okay, so there are two things. Before the reception, let's go into the client entering our salon. Now, when she
Okay.
enters the salon, I'm sure she's going to carry something in her hand, which is some germs, some viruses, and then open the door. Okay, we are just opening the door there.
Yeah.
Now, depending on the type of the salon, depending on this on your location of the salon, you could have what is called as a sanitizing tunnels. There's something called as a sanitizing tunnel, which can be built just outside your salon. So anybody who enters is completely sprayed with a sanitizer and then enters in. So there's no germs you're going to carry in there. That's one.
Yeah.
Second is, it's not possible for everyone to do it, because sometimes if we are into a location which we can't do this, as
Yeah.
soon as you open the door, the first thing is you must have what's called as your sanitizing booth. Now, this is not a very fancy sanitizing thing which we are asking for. We're just saying a sanitizer bottle can kept, or a sanitizer which is a sensor based bottles can be kept. So I don't need to touch it. The minute I touch it, I'm going to actually have more germs coming onto myself. So we can
Yeah.
have that. That's your first thing. Once that is done, you hand over the kit, the client wears everything what is required, and then we start on. Now at the reception, very, very critical for us, please do not have any magazines, newspapers, or any menu cards kept there. Because once I'm going to touch it, and I'm going to keep it there, I'm going to keep with it lot many germs and viruses there, which I don't know if it is my COVID virus there. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I do not want, so we should not have these. Instead, we could have our menu cards which are printed big and bold and stuck on the wall if we require, so that the client can see and refer to if needed. Yeah. Now comes my second touch point at my reception is the place where my client sits down. Now, most of us have very fancy salons, which we have beautiful upholstered sofa sets kept there, or we have these beautiful chairs kept there. But these beautiful chairs are going to be really breeding these viruses if anybody is infected and is carrier there. So in this
Yeah.
case, we have two choices. If we can't replace our furniture, which we wouldn't want to because it might spoil our decor of the place, we could put a plastic sheet on it, or we could put a cling wrap on it and change the cling wrap with every client. So that if
Oh,
she
really?
sits down, anybody sits down, she or he is not going to leave any virus or germs on the chair. Because I cannot sterilize or sanitize my chairs, especially those expensive leather ones. It's difficult
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I could just put a simple cling wrap, which everybody has in. Just a simple cling wrap. So somebody sits in and I change my cling wrap immediately. I'm assured that there are no germs lying there. So that's my second. Third is at my reception table. Now, if we feel right, now this is a choice of the salon owner for sure. If we feel right, we could have a shield which comes on the reception now. It's a transparent acrylic shield that comes in, so that while talking and communicating, you are not very close to your client. You're a little away, kept a little distance is maintained there, and the client also is not tempted to put her hands on the table, because that's also very critical for us there. So
Yeah.
that's what we can do at the reception as the first touch point which we can avoid. So the clients, once they wear their PPE, we know that 80% of our problems are solved. After that, we can deal with her in every different sections that we go to.
Great. What about offering her refreshments? Is that a good idea?
Yes, you could offer her refreshments, but ensure that we do not now do it with in our glasses and our mugs which we have. Okay, rather here we need to have our disposables coming in again. Now the reason
Right.
I would say it's not unsafe to give in a glass or a cup, but the problem here is we do not use dishwashers in our salons. A dishwasher
Yeah.
takes a temperature up to 60, 70 degrees and washes it with hot water. Now we wash with regular water, and sometimes our housekeeping staff might not even want to wash it properly and just rinse it with water. So there we're going to have some germs left in there. That's why we
Yeah.
recommend a disposable and then throw it off.
Okay. Now let's get
Yeah.
down to discussing the treatments. So, how do you want to place it? You want to start with skin treatments first?
Yes, let's start with the skin treatments. The
Yeah.
most popular skin treatments, which we should take the lead now, is the waxing, because I'm sure everybody would be waiting to get their waxes done there. Now,
Yes.
so when we talk about waxing, so let's talk about the facial room in which we are going to do our waxing for sure. In India, we have a common room which we do our facials and the waxing there. So in the waxing in the facial rooms, the first thing is our beds needs to be sprayed with a disinfectant before the client comes in. So just as the client enters in, we spray it with a disinfectant there. Okay, it's very, very important for us. Now, certain things is important to show the client that we're doing it, because they don't know we've done it. So we need to show and do it there. In the
Yeah.
meantime, my client can also start changing onto her gowns, because she's already onto her PPE there. She can change in and she can come into her gowns. Now here, we also have a choice that we can have, if we don't want to have a disposable gown for the cost implications for it, and we have a regular cotton gown which is there, you could use it, but as soon as you've used it, as soon as the client has used it, it needs to go in a closed plastic bag which will be kept in there and then gone to the laundry. In the laundry, it has to be washed with hot water, and use of a mild disinfectant liquid is required there. So
Okay.
that's important when it's so the client changes it. Now you've sprayed onto your trolleys. You've sprayed the disinfectant spray. Now the disinfectant spray which we use inside the salon is an IPA or an ethyl alcohol. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's very popularly known as rubbing alcohol. Yeah, it's an isopropyl alcohol or an ethyl alcohol is what we use. We generally use a 60 to 70% in spray, but we never use it. So it already, when it comes in, it comes as a diluted liquid already. So don't need to do anything, just use it as a spray there. So we use that, we spray everything is clean. Now the client is there and we start the waxing. Now, if you're using a cartridge wax, okay, it's very simple. You use one per client and discard it. There is no
Yeah.
cross infection risk that we say face there. But if we are using the regular wax with a spatula, then here I would recommend that we do not use our regular method of waxing. Rather, we use a method called as a single dip waxing. That means I would take a spatula, I would apply the wax on the leg or the arm which I require. I cannot re-dip that spatula inside. I need to take a fresh spatula and then use it again. So never my spatula which has touched this client's skin will go inside the wax pots. So that
Okay.
is what. So very popularly we call it as the no double dip. Okay, so no dipping method, no double dip method. It's popularly known for that. So if you
Yeah.
go through even a lot of videos on YouTube, you will find a single dip wax or a no double dip wax. So that's very important there. And all the wax strips and all should be disposed in a closed bin. Okay, nothing on an open bin, and do not keep it onto your trolley because you're going to have your germs getting spreading there. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So this is your first for waxing. Now in the same room, so once a client is done, we asked her to change in and she has left the room and gone out. We immediately dispose everything what she has used into a closed plastic bag and into my bin. Okay, we do
Right.
get those
Vaishali,
we
I would like to interrupt you here
yeah.
for 1 second before we move on to the next treatment. My question is, all these steps that you have just described will remain the same no matter which part of the body is getting waxed.
Yes, will remain the same. Yes, one additional thing which is
Okay,
there
we
is
can't, yes.
gloves are mandatory. So there is no option that we can't have gloves.
Yeah,
Yeah, so our gloves are mandatory even for waxing our
right.
hands, legs, underarms, bikini, any wax. We need to have our gloves on for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
So it's
the
okay if you
yeah.
don't repeat it. We'll make it clear to the viewers that the gloves are mandatory and that there's no other option that you have. Like, no matter which service you're doing, you need to wear gloves.
Okay, one only additional thing which I would tell them here is that most of them would come back to say, they're not very comfortable with the gloves. Most of them come
Okay.
back and say, it's very, very uncomfortable to work with gloves. I agree. In the start, it's very uncomfortable because they're not used to. But if you use the nitrile gloves, they are
Hmm.
they actually come to very close to your skin and they're very tight. So always use a right size gloves. If you buy gloves just like a regular one and say, okay, any gloves is okay, you'll always get a glove which is loose for you. A loose gloves will never work. You need to have a glove which fits very tight and nice onto your skin. So nitrile gloves,
Okay.
you can also get the blue colored one. They're blue colored or black colored ones. They're beautiful colors there. You could use the
Okay.
nitrile ones. They are good and they don't stick. It's the best thing. It doesn't stick as much as our latex gloves. Yeah, so you can
Okay.
use that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right.
Yeah. So once the client is gone, we've disposed everything into the bin. We've sprayed our disinfectant there completely, and we let it be there. Now remember, for us to complete the process of disinfection, it's important that the sanitizer or the spray remains there for 10 minutes. Now here there is a little difference. If I have an IPA or an ethyl uh, sanitizer only with a peroxide, with a hydrogen peroxide mix. So there are two different mixes which are available in the market. One is alcohol with hydrogen peroxide and one is alcohol with a BKC. Now BKC means benzyl conium chloride. Okay, now these are two
Okay.
different sprays which are available or the liquids which are available in the market. If it's hydrogen peroxide, I just need to spray it and leave it. It'll evaporate. I don't have a problem. But if
Yeah.
I am going to if I have the other one, the BKC one with me, the alcohol plus a BKC, that is my benzyl conium chloride. In that case, I have to wipe my surface because BKC does not evaporate. Now, the
Okay.
benefit with having an hydrogen peroxide or a BKC in your solution would be they also have an antibacterial effect, which is important at this stage of time. Now, when I wipe, it's important I don't wipe it like this. I wipe in one direction only because I don't want to recontaminate my surfaces. Okay, so
Okay.
that's one. Now, once you've done this, you clean up everything, you're done. Now, it's important to post this. We want to now look at the facial. So again, for a facial, the steps for the first remain the same. Now comes when we are going to touch the client's skin. Yeah, because the facial does require us to
Yeah.
touch. Okay, likely we might have a notification from our government and the Ministry of Health to say that we might have to discontinue facial for some time. Or our clients might be little wary to say, I don't want a facial for some time. But in case we have
Yeah.
a client who's very, very insistent that I want a facial, I want to do it, there's no way out. In that case, we could do our facials using vinyl gloves. Now, vinyl gloves again are very thin, fine gloves which will give you protection, which gives you enough protection for sure. Now, these gloves can be used for doing a massage, but inform the client that I'm going to use vinyl gloves while doing a massage, and don't worry, it's not going to be uncomfortable. You might have a different feeling for sure, but it's for the safety for both of us. It's important that we both
Okay.
remain safe. Similar is for our body massages. We would not encourage body massage at that time, but in case if we have again somebody who wants to do a massage, you can't always, sometimes the client wants it their way. If there's no government notification, they're not going to listen to everything what we say. In that case,
Yeah.
please ensure we have vinyl gloves on. Vinyl gloves works very safe even with the oil, and you do not require extra products even in that case. Your product requirement still remains the same, but the safety is ensured for both you as a working therapist and for your client both. So that's how you take care of your facial and
Okay.
the
What
room
about
facial.
appliances? Can we use appliances for facial, like those
Yes.
massage tools?
Yes, so we could do that. Now, what we also recommend is you could, because it's summertime now, for the next 2 months, we're going to be warm and hot. Okay, so
Yeah.
you could use the cold glass bulbs which come in. There is the gel bulbs which come. You could use those to do a massage. Yeah, or we
Mm-hmm.
could also use a lot of our implement. I mean, our machines there instead of a massage. In that case, we can, because the result is important somewhere. But
Yeah.
saying that, something for a cleansing, we'll always use a hand. Something sometimes for just making the therapist getting the client getting comfortable with the therapist, we always use a hand. So for those things, these safeties are important. All your equipments which are there, all our electric
Okay.
equipments which are there in the facial room, please ensure you spray them well. You spray them with a alcohol liquid for sure, and not forget the wires of your machines. Even they carry germs there. So please ensure that we really, really clean them well before and after a client. Before a client, we do it in front of a client. Tell her that I'm looking into your safety for sure. And after we do it, because we really want to ensure we are doing a double cleanse there. We are doing a double cleaning there or a double disinfection there. Yeah. So that's the idea there. Yes.
Okay.
Now coming on to
And
outside. Yeah.
how can the therapist maintain social distance while doing facial?
Yeah, now here we would not be able to maintain a social distance. That's why we have our PPE on the client as well as a PPE on our therapist. And here again, we are asking our therapist to have
Okay.
a visor on the face, the glove, the mask, the gloves, everything on. So then in that case, we will be better off. But otherwise, no. Again, I would want to here make a point that these are the guidelines which we have really picked up from a lot of countries who've already opened on salons or opening salons now, from their governments or from their
Yeah.
association. So these are the optimal guidelines which we think we should follow. However, our own government will come up with their own guidelines soon. I'm sure most of the points would be covered, but we might have a restriction or we might have a leeway on certain things to be done. Yeah. Now
Okay.
coming on to our most popular service that's going to happen, it's our threading.
Yes.
Because after in the skin service, I'm sure threading is something which we will not be able to avoid. Now here,
Yeah.
important is we now do not do the threading, which is using a thread in the mouth and then do a threading, because that's completely a no-no for us.
Yeah.
Instead, we do the what's called the loop threading. So we do not need to put string in the, it's a loop which you create and then you do the threading with the gloves on. Being a lockdown yet, we all are at home. All the beauticians will have threads with them. I would suggest let's start practicing loop threading using gloves. Medical stores are there. We can buy gloves and try it. That's one.
Yeah.
Second is another way of doing a threading is instead of putting the thread in the mouth, you put the thread, you put a loop and you put a thread on your neck. You put it onto
Okay.
your neck, you tie a knot, and then you start doing the threading. So you will have a neck movement that happens for you to help it. However, not good if you have spondylitis, you're going to be really in bad shape. But there are a lot of people who do threading in that way, and that is acceptable for sure. That is acceptable. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's the threading there. Yes. So then coming on
So,
to our manicure
shall we
pedicures.
move on to hair?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
sure. So we can quickly to our hair. In the hair section, as we said, our distance is very, very critical. Yeah, so we have to have a 2 meter distance between two clients there. Now, in the hair, we've
Yeah.
got our client covered. Now, important is your cape can be disposable, non-disposable. But if it's not disposable or a reusable, please do not do what happens now. Just people just, just shake it up, get the hair off, and put it on the other client. Don't do that. Put it into a plastic bag. Ensure that you have it washed in hot water with a disinfectant, and then you can use it again. Okay, but you
Okay.
should ensure that you have a disposable cape. You've cut the hair. Immediately get, so it's a good idea that immediately get it mopped there, cleaned up the hair, mop it with a disinfectant spray immediately there, and then you do a blow dry. But important is before you take a haircut, ensure that you do a hair wash in the salon, mandatory. A shampoo is mandatory for any client that walks in, because even hair is a carrier of these viruses. Virus can live there also. So that's important for
Okay.
us that you do a shampoo and then you take the client for a haircut or for any other services that you want. But a
There's
PP,
something like a disposable collar which also comes, which can be used
yes.
inside the cape, right?
Yes, you could use a disposable collar and on that put a cape. I think most of the salons do use that. The disposable necktie there, they all of them use
Yeah.
it. But I think
Okay.
people who don't use it also should start getting in there.
Cool.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
So that's
the
so once we finish the service, the client is gone. Please spray again completely. Leave it on for 10 to 15 minutes and then take your next client. Yeah. Now I
so
would
will
just
it
want
be
to
very
touch upon.
difficult or uncomfortable to cut hair while wearing gloves?
If you practice it, not really. But again, your
Okay.
gloves can't be loose. It needs to be really tight fitting gloves on your hands. So I think now is the time to really start practicing all this on how do I hold a scissor, how do I do these things now. I think that's a good
Yeah.
time now to do it. Yeah. I would also want to, once we finish the manicure pedicure section, I would also want to tell you what are the different types of disinfectants available in the market, because there's a lot of
Okay.
new
Great.
things which are there. Yeah. Now,
Okay.
when we have, so let's talk about our pedicure manicure. One of the area which can breed maximum bacteria and viruses for us. Yeah, because cleaning that is very, very difficult and important there. So I tell you there are two ways of it. So one is we can have pedicure tubs which are cleaned with hot water, hot soapy water after every client. That's one. But a second easier way to do it also is I've seen this in especially the Norwegian countries. They do that there and they use it to do very well. What they do is they put on, or even for that matter, Russia does it. They put on what is called as a plastic bag or a disposable pedicure bags onto their pedicure tubs. So once you put a
Okay.
bag, it's more like a garbage bag, frankly. You put it on onto the tub, and then you fill up water there. Okay, so anyway, it doesn't really disturb the client, doesn't disturb us at all. Once you finish the service, you pick the tub, go there, throw the water, and the bag goes in the bin. So you really don't have too much to really worry about, washing with a hot soapy water. However, you can spray and clean it again. So that's
Okay.
one way. All the implements that we use for a manicure and pedicure, one is it needs to be autoclave for sure. Okay, just putting into a UV sterilizer and using it for the next client is not going to work for us. That's one. Now, in between service also, now I'm doing a manicure. I did one hand, I'm going to the second hand. I'm going to keep that implement on my table. My implement, when it is on my table, it needs to go into what is called as a barbicicle liquid, or it can go into our rubbing alcohol, the IPA liquid. In a glass, fill up an IPA liquid, put your all implements in there even while using it. That's the quickest way to disinfect your implements. Okay, so for the
Okay.
same client, you could do that, but otherwise, I would always suggest use an autoclave. And another thing which I was really working on even before the COVID came in is it's not a bad idea to have a new kit for every client. You could always charge a client for it and give the kit to the client and say, ma'am, you can carry your nail cutter and your cuticle cutter home, no problem. Next time, carry it back. We will disinfect it and use it for you. We could do that also. In that
Yeah,
case,
that's a good idea.
yeah, you don't really need to, really, the client doesn't need to worry if it's safe or not safe. Because trust me, pedicures are one of the most unsafe services if not done well. Yes?
Isn't it easier then to not have pedicures and manicures for the next couple of months?
I'm sure if we don't have a notification, we will have a lot of pressure to do it. So there is a lot of disposables you can use and do it. Then you'll be okay. And again, you having gloves on for sure, 2 pairs of gloves onto yourself to protect yourself. And I'm sure it will really make a huge difference there.
Right. And this plastic bag suggestion, like the garbage bag idea for pedis counter tubs, it can't be used on fixed pedicure tubs, right?
It could be used on a fixed pedicure tubs also. So what you could do is you can even tape it on to the ends. So you just tape the ends there. You could do that.
Okay.
You could still do that. Yeah.
Okay, great. And similarly, for the tools used for manicure, also you can disinfect it while doing it, and also later, of course, once
Autoclave.
the service is
Autoclave
done.
it. Yeah.
Right.
Autoclave the ones first and then disinfect it while doing it. Important for us.
Okay.
And try
Now,
not to use the pedicure and manicure equipments. So, some of us will use the pedicure equipment on the hands and hand manicure equipment on the legs while doing the same client. I would suggest try not doing that.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, is there any service you feel that salons should be avoiding altogether because it is too high risk and too much exposure?
See, to say frankly, most of the services are high risk. Yeah, I mean, all the services would be high risk. So, if you take proper care, proper precautions, you should be okay. But, however, if you have a client who looks unwell, if you have a client who doesn't look good on the face in terms of looks a little sick or recovering or fatigued, I would recommend please avoid that service and tell them, what, sir or ma'am, I would suggest that you show to a doctor first, get yourself a little more better, and then we would service you so that we ensure that our salon is really, really safe.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is something that can actually take place at the reception stage,
Yes.
where
Yes.
if initially when we spoke about the precautions taken in when the client is coming in, you think there should be a temperature checking as well at the
Yes,
entrance?
yes, yes. We should have an infrared temperature checking so that it's always
Yeah,
from a distance. So we have an infrared temperature check. We've checked them. We've also asked a few basic questions to our clients and saying, "How are you feeling, ma'am? Are you great? Whatever." So you really know if she's fine or not fine. That's
yeah,
important. Another thing in your previous question where you asked that services that can be avoided, definitely I would want to avoid a facial in this time. I would want to avoid a body massage or a threading in this time. But I'm just saying that if your client is very, very insistent, then probably do it. But otherwise, I would say
okay,
I would avoid that for sure. If I have to do something on a client, it's probably just do a mask application and that's it. Because I know that
okay.
I'm not going to touch the client at all there.
Right,
Yeah.
that would be the safest thing. So let's finish off the mani-pedi segment by talking a little bit more on nail art and nail care. So is nail art safe to do?
Nail art is safe, but not the way we do it. Most of us are used to doing, taking the product directly from the bottle and then using it on the client, and then you're re-dipping the blood brush. Anything which is
Yeah.
re-dipping is not advisable at all. So in that case,
Okay.
I would have, a simplest thing is you have the color palettes which you get in the market, not the hair color, but you get the color palettes which are the painting color palettes. You could
Yeah.
take a palette with you and you can what is called as decant your product in there. So you can really decant a little
Hmm.
product in there and then use it from there. Whatever is left over, please throw it off, so that you're not contaminating anything that is back onto the, we're not contaminating any of the products there. So you could do a nail art, but you need to do a nail art safely. One more interesting thing which I saw in one of the salon in another country was on the nail art tables, on your nail tables, they had a
Yeah.
beautiful shield which was kept there. Because
Okay.
sometimes these products can get irritating and you could sneeze or you could get a cough. So they have a very beautiful shield, a transparent shield which is kept in there, which is attached to your table, and your hand goes in, like how you go to the bank, to the cashier to take
Yeah.
the cash. He has a
Yeah.
shield.
Like the teller.
So,
Yeah. There
the
is
teller
a,
shield, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and there are
Okay.
companies who make these shields now. So there are a lot of vendors who now make it. They've understood that this will be the requirement for tomorrow. So we could do that
Okay.
also. Yeah, so
What
you could
about
do
nail
them.
polish? How do we use nail polish? Because the
Now,
brush needs to go back in.
yeah, now there are two things. So I will suggest please have a new bottle for every client and give it to the client. Give it as a takeaway to the client. Yeah, and the client is
Okay.
happy to receive one nail polish. I know there are many salons in our country doing that. So you take a fresh bottle, she likes it. So now she wants to first see if the shade looks good or on me or no. So for that I have a tester kit. My tester kit is used on my trial nails or my artificial nails. I can show her that, ma'am, the color looks like this. So she's satisfied
Okay.
with the color. After that, I can tell her, okay, ma'am, now you've selected a color, I can get you a fresh polish. So I bring a fresh polish in front of her, paint her nails, give it to her, and let her take it as a takeaway from our end. Works both as a
Okay.
branding exercise, and the safety first will always come in there.
Right. So have we covered most of the treatments? Is there something else that we should be talking about?
I think we've covered most. Important, we've left the makeup. I'm sure there are a
Yes.
lot of people
Yes.
who do makeup also in the salon and as freelancers also. Now,
Yeah.
in the makeup, because we always use the makeup from the makeup palettes. So here again, decanting is a must. So I need to really decant. Now, when I decant, what do I do is, now I have an eyeshadow with me. I can scrape it a bit and put it onto my palette and then use it on the eyes. So I will never take a used brush back to my product, to my original product packing.
Okay.
That's how I would use all there. Now, important is I wash my brushes definitely every day for sure. But what if I have back-to-back clients? I can't be washing my brushes. I can have two kits. I can't have more than that. Then what? In that case, please use a brush cleanser, which is also a disinfectant, because brush cleansers or the IPA sprays are disinfectants there. So, highly avoidable if you can, but if you can't avoid, please do that for sure. Yeah. So you could
Okay.
use a spray
Okay.
onto your brushes. And another thing important is, as soon as we open, we're going to have a lot of home salons coming in the picture. We might have the beauticians coming home for our services. So this is a request to
Yeah.
all the personnel themselves. The beauticians who are going to come themselves there. I really sincerely request that between two clients, please keep a gap where you can go home, shower, change, and go to the next client. Going from one client to another is like you're becoming a carrier from one person to the other person. Not really recommended. And to top it
Yeah.
all, once all of these persons, even working in the salon, once you finished your shift, important, go home, shower, wash your clothes immediately, because they can be potential virus sites for you. So once you come to the salon, change your clothes. Your used clothes should always be in a plastic sealed bag, so you don't want germs anywhere. And once you go back home, for the safety of your family and yourself, please ensure that we have this done. Take a shower, wash your clothes immediately.
Great. That
Yeah.
is an excellent tip. It will definitely safeguard the freelancers or the home service providers. Now, all this that we will be doing, the salon owners will be implementing by way of hygiene and sanitation, will require intensive and extensive staff training. So, how can that be achieved?
Yes, I'm sure there is no way out without this training, because it takes a little time for us to get used to this. So, a
Yeah.
best idea would be that if our staff is already on our roll, they're already there with us at the moment, they're sitting home. Yeah, you can definitely do a video training, a video call, a WhatsApp video call, or you could do a Zoom call with them if it's a big team. And let's start putting these thoughts into their mind. What do we require at what stage? Let's start putting their thoughts into their mind. And I'm sure it will really work well for them. And important is, in the morning briefing, every day, we need to reiterate this training bit to them. You can't just do it once and forget it. It needs to be every day done to them so that it really gets into their mind and they realize every potential hazard. One important thing which I really want to, and I will try and see if we can do a video on it little soon, is,
Yeah.
when we don't realize that when we wear gloves, most of the people feel when I wear gloves, I'm safe. But we don't realize my gloves can immediately take infection, can take virus and bacteria from any surfaces the minute I touch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So important is you wear gloves, but you can't touch anything anywhere. The minute you've touched, your gloves are already dirty.
Infected,
so these small
yeah.
things, infected. So these small things need to be told to our staff at a regular interval. Really at a regular interval, we need to tell them. Probably at the moment, every second day, we do a video call and do a revision, do it with them, show them things and all that. But once we open every morning, the manager needs to do this in their morning meetings for sure. Otherwise, there's no way we'll remember it. And even here, the client communication is important. You need to tell your client what you're doing. You can't be doing it, it's like advertising in the dark. It's not like that. You really need to tell the client what are the safety measures I'm taking and what would I want you to take also. Important.
Yeah. Is it advisable for salon owners to strengthen their housekeeping staff?
Yes, you will, because that's what I was just talking to someone, that we might have an additional housekeeping requirement with every salon now, because I know it's going to be crowding, but you can always have people working in shifts there. But it's important because they're cleaning up regularly. Imagine what we were cleaning twice a day. We are going to clean that 10 times a day now. So how much is the salon staff, your housekeeping staff going to pull through there? And training of our housekeeping is being so critical. I think half the time the manager will be behind the housekeeping, teaching her and telling her how to do it.
Right. So, Vaishali, I think we have covered most of the aspects that are required, are mandatory, and can be also voluntarily done by salon owners once the salons are open. There are a few questions from our viewers that we like to take up now.
Yes.
Yes. So one very important question is at the beginning when you spoke about the PPE kits, especially the overalls and the disposable aprons, they want to know where they can be purchased.
Okay, so one is, I'm sure the beauty shops will have it, but in India, if you just log on to India Mart at a wholesale, you will really get a lot of these happening for sure. You will get them in quite good quantities and good pricing. So just log on to
Okay.
India Mart and you put a request on what you want. You will be able to get it there.
Okay. So you've already explained what a sanitizing tunnel is. That was one of the questions. But the additional question to that is what chemical is used inside a sanitizing tunnel? And you were
Okay.
going to talk about chemicals a little more anyways.
Yes. So a disinfecting tunnel, what we call it as a disinfecting tunnel, at the moment, the ministry has made it mandatory for industries. So any factory you enter, you have to have a disinfecting tunnel there. Okay, this
Yeah.
tunnel is typically a 6 feet long tunnel, 7 feet height, and about 3 feet wide. You just walk in with your hands open and the spray comes in. The spray comes from the top and the sides. Now, ideally, because it's a human, it should be alcohol only. Okay,
Okay.
alcohol and a PKC combination is a good idea to have it. Many of them are using sodium hydrochloride in that. But let me tell you, sodium hydrochloride is not safe for humans. It can be used to do a sterilization or used to do a disinfection outside your premise in the open. It's very good for that, but not good to put it on your body because
Okay.
sodium hydrochloride is like bleach. You can't put it on your body. Yeah. So alcohol is the one which is there, which is done. Now, second is I said we have these sprays available or the liquids which are alcohol or IPA or an ethyl alcohol plus a BKC. Now, these are used. These are the most safest to be used in the salon. I mean, if you even touch it, it's not going to harm you as much. You could clean your LCD panels with it. You can clean your glass, everything with that. No problem with that at all.
Okay.
Okay. Third is so it's really okay. The third one is the alcohol plus hydrogen peroxide and water. This is the next one which is available. It really okay, you can spray and it evaporates immediately. Okay, it's very good.
Okay.
Okay, virus.
Hi, so our previous session has ended abruptly, but we are back again. So please stay tuned in, and Vaishali will join us and answer all your questions. So please bear with us for a few minutes. So that was one heavy duty session with so many good tips and information about sanitation and hygiene. I'm sure Vaishali has got all of us into the thinking mode now. And I hope salons are able to implement these corrections as soon as they decide to open. So give me a minute and I'll add her. So towards the end of the first session, she was talking about, hi, we are back.
Hi. Yes.
Yes. So you were telling us about the third
The liquid,
disinfectant.
yeah. Third
Yes.
one is the alcohol with peroxide. It's very good as a spray. It evaporates immediately, so could be used for sure. Okay, just one correction is generally IPA with BKC I will not use on LCD panels. I can use on my mobile phone, but my LCD panel membrane can get damaged with a IPA plus BKC. However,
Okay.
my IPA plus peroxide I can spray. My LCD panels will not get damaged there. So that could be used
Okay.
for sure. Okay, and the third one, which is, I mean, fourth one, which is very popularly used, but it should be used in the areas outside your salon or open areas, is your
Hmm.
sodium hydrochloride. 1% sodium hydrochloride diluted in water is what you can spray and use it. So generally people use it on their staircases, people use it for the lift, people use it around their salons, you could use it there. Many people also
Okay.
try and use it in the floor inside the salon, but let me tell you, it is a very, very strong ammonia-like flavor. The smell comes in
Smell.
because
Hmm.
yeah, because it is like a bleach there. So, and it's not advisable to use in a closed atmosphere. It will have fumes there. We don't want to use it there. Okay.
Okay.
However, there is a notification by the government to use it to clean it and all, but it's an industrial notification and not a notification for the salon or closed units here.
So this was actually one of the questions about fumigation. Is fumigation necessary to disinfect a salon using fumes
Fume
from chemicals? Yeah.
No, so if you see, even now, when the government had this whole thing on doing the disinfection for societies and so for the internal societies and all, they never used fumes. They used these
Okay.
sodium hydrochloride sprays for the staircases and the lifts. They did not use fumes. So here
Okay.
again, we will not use fumes. The day you open, probably, if you have a good ventilation in your salon, you can open up your whole salon, do this whole cleaning once, yeah, and after
Yeah.
that you can continue doing it with the alcohol, because internally when there we can't have fumes in the air currents, we can't have fumes, otherwise we're going
We
to
will have
get
it.
sick very fast.
Right. We
Yeah.
spoke at length about the care taken when the client walks in. One very valid question has come up. What do we do with the client's personal belongings?
Yeah. So as I said, our client's clothes, client's bag, anything which she's carrying with them, we need to put it into a bag and see and close the bag and put it down there. We can't keep it open and exposed at any point of time. So, here I
Okay.
think we're going to use really a lot of amounts of bags. Some of us can use Ziploc bags, but some of us will really need to have these big garbage-like bags, good, neat ones. Put the client's clothes neatly folded inside with a bag, close it. I mean, just turn it tightly, close it, and put it down. Once she's worn her clothes back, please dispose this bag again. Do not use this bag from one client to another. And please ensure, we have just gone through the Earth Day yesterday. Do not use plastic which is not biodegradable. We will require a plastic which is biodegradable in this case.
Right. Actually, I was coming to that with so much of plastic being used, we might
No,
end up with another crisis on hand, which
no.
is already there. So, yes, we should be looking at more eco-friendly options. One valid point that came up by our viewer is when you mention cling wraps on your reception furniture, because it's plastic, it's already banned in Maharashtra. So is there any alternative to cling wrap?
Yeah, so I would then say that if we don't have, we can't do much about, really doing a plastic. I mean, there are plastics available which are industrial plastics, but they're expensive for us then. So then what
Yeah.
you could do is then probably put another chair just in front of that, and that chair could be a plastic or a wood chair, because you can always spray and clean it then. So do not have an
Right.
upholstered anything in there at the moment. Otherwise, we're going to be spreading from one to other.
Absolutely. Should there be any sort of communication going out to your clients on the number of people that can come in the salon at a same time? So mostly it happens with women; they have their children in tow, or a couple of friends come together. So what do you have to say to that?
So I'll tell you one very good idea would be is every salon knows when they have a walk-in client happening. The walk-in doesn't happen
Yeah.
through the day. It's a particular hour of the day when the walk-in is really happening. Every client, I mean, every salon knows it. So one is
Yeah.
and insist on a pre-booked appointment. So everybody takes an appointment, but you can leave slots empty where a walk-in can be accommodated. Now, this walk-in would be like you can have two walk-ins or three walk-ins can be accommodated in that time for sure. Okay, so you could do
Okay.
that, but again, a walk-in comes in, we need to have a 15-minute gap after the second one comes in. Otherwise, we will not be able to disinfect. One very important and critical thing here, when you said children and all that. Now, generally, there are some of us like to go to salon with friends, and some of
Yeah.
us go with our children. Now, in this time, we recommend not to get anybody who is not getting a service done with you. Ideally, we should not have a waiting area where the client, no, anybody can sit. So, no extra people coming in the salon. And if you have people who've already walked in before their appointment time, please see to it that we really make space for them in such a way that the social distancing can be still maintained in the salon. Very, very
Cool.
important there. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so we have covered everything that we planned out to about hygiene in salons, and thank you so much for these valuable inputs. I'm sure all the salon owners are already thinking on how do I implement this, and once the shutters go up, these are the things that I want to buy and invest and use in my salon. So thank you so much, Vaishali. It was a lovely session having you here. There are a lot of people that you might know who are watching us now. Would you like to wave to them? If you scroll down, you will see all the people who are watching us. So there is Najib. Hi. He's
Hi,
saying hi to
Najib.
both of us.
Yes. Hi, Archana. I can see her there. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Krucha. Blossom. Good. Yeah, there's some question that come in. Is it good idea to use an infrared thermometer? Yes, we should use an infrared thermometer for the staff as well as the client. Every morning you should have your staff and client both being checked. Yes.
Right.
So, Priya, hello, hello, Sonali. Nice having you here. Um, yes, I can only see those at the moment. Yes.
Okay. So, Vaishali, thank you so much. If there are any more questions, we'll reach out to you offline and help mediate between you and our viewers. Thank you. It was lovely having you.
Yes, my last statement to everybody is now let's move out from a clean salon to a safe salon. That's the mantra for now. From a clean salon to a safe salon. And now let's adopt a new normal. So now we have a new normal that we now need to get used to there. Okay. So
Yes.
thank you,
Yes.
viewers, and thank you for being there online with us.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.